Welcome everyone to Authentic Guest Blog. My name is Sun. This is Jelena.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so we just had like a 2 hour discussion and now we're actually getting into the meat of it. So we came up with an idea for carousel, but you didn't like. So the idea is we're trying to. Overall idea is like, hey, like as a therapist, you always feel like you need to have the answer, give advice, and when somebody and you need to keep giving those advices, but the example is, that kid that always have raised their hand every question the teacher has. Nobody likes that kid, even the teacher. The truth is, nobody likes a smartass. So stop trying to impress people by giving advice, and trying to be impressive is not impressive. But while we were talking about that, you brought up the fact that I don't know if I can say that, right? So can you
Yes.
explain that? Like what is the reason why you don't feel comfortable saying that?
Yes. One reason for that is because I need to. It kind of sounds like a strong message to say to another colleague because it sounds like I'm criticizing them, and in my mind, I'm thinking about the therapists that would or coaches that will read that and maybe find themselves there. And I would like to have a good relationship with the community I'm in, like the community of therapists and coaches. So,
Those are two separate things, right? One is because you want to maintain this relationship,
yes.
and the other one, the first one was that you don't want to sound like what?
I mean, it's so for me, this is if I am criticizing them, it implies that I'm affecting our relationship with other therapists. This is on my mind. So, and the second thing is um, that this is advice that I need to.
Which part of that? Sorry, which part of that? What we just said, do you think is the criticism? Do you think is like the worst part?
Just
Like,
just the fact like that I'm addressing hey therapists and coaches. If it's like random thing for people that want to look smart, this is good. I don't mind. But only if I'm like pinpoint to them.
what's the difference?
I guess uh, the thing that I am separating myself from them because this is advice I also need to hear from time to time that I
Okay, then maybe
less.
maybe that's how you word it. Maybe instead of saying you, say we. I actually think that's a really good point.
Okay.
I I, I do that a lot actually. I catch myself like a lot of the times I don't say you should do that, you should do that. Sometimes I say, we as humans tend to be this way. So we need to do this.
Well, this puts a lot of pressure from my chest because then I don't have like high expectations that I need to like fulfill that. Like I'm in the same place like them.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
limiting.
what you're saying is you just don't want to sound like you're preaching, or you don't want to sound like you're better than them, and that's why
Exactly,
you're giving the
exactly,
advice. Yeah,
exactly.
you want to include yourself, so just then all you got to do is use the word we instead of you. Hey, as therapists and coaches, we tend to always, love to give advice, blah blah blah.
Yes,
But that kid that nobody likes them, so nobody likes a smart ass.
yes,
So let's try to stop trying to impress, you know, or something like that. But other than that, the message itself is not. It's not like the message itself you think is going to offend the therapist.
mm, I guess if I think that this is the main reason. If I separate myself from the message, or if I'm in the message, so I guess this is it. In the
Hmm.
first place, when I was when the idea was not to mention therapists and coaches and just talk in general,
Yeah.
it's too broad, too general. So you kind of, it's not so specific. So
Okay, so let's think about that. Why is it that when it's general, you don't feel like preachy?
mm, I guess that because it's common sense, so people get it. Um,
Well, if it's common sense, it should work for a therapist too. I mean, like
it
really,
sounds
though.
it sounds less personal when you criticize society and when you criticize a specific profession. So
Like when you talk criticize therapists, it sounds maybe like you're like a more experienced therapist
yes, yes,
trying to
this is
teach
this is the main
a
problem
younger
because
therapist.
yes, this is the main problem because if I imagine right now that I'm criticizing doctors and I could criticize them,
Hmm.
I don't have a problem with that. But
Hmm.
if I criticize therapists, then I have a problem because I'm also part of the problem.
I see. Yeah, maybe one time we should dig a little bit deeper into this topic because I I feel like one of the reasons why um like one thing I wish I could teach everyone,
Okay.
show people, is for them to like literally give zero fucks when they make this content and honestly really say what they want to say without any worry about what other people are going to think, what other people in my industry is going to think. Like literally don't zero fucks and just completely saying what you want to say the way you want to say it, right?
Okay. So this is your goal, right?
No. Like I would love for people to actually get there and try it and then see the reaction to that, like for
Yeah.
a prolonged period of time. Let's say
Yeah.
for a month or something like that.
I don't know why I have the vibe that you need to be in some to really know what you're speaking about for having that responsibility of saying whatever you want. Because I mean, you're speaking about I don't know, like average teenager that is posting content every day on whatever topic. But if you if you look from the perspective of quality, this is not a material that has any anything like meaningful for people that are consuming it. So in my mind, it comes with a lot of expertise. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's. I think it come. I think a lot of the reasons why people censor themselves
Okay.
or edit themselves is kind of it's kind of like what you just said about like I don't want my colleagues to think blah whatever it is. I think it's a lot of that where um you know it's very actually related to that Gabor Mate's thing where she talks about attachment and authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
where as a child, you know, we need attachment from adults. Like when
Yeah.
from adult, we need that to show that this person cares and blah blah blah. And then we also need to be authentic. But what happens is, as a child, we give up our authenticity in order to
Yes.
seek
For the
approval
sake of
for
that
to
art.
get, yeah, for the attachment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, And then you grow up, what happens is that then you're doing the same thing. You're giving up your authenticity. I don't want to say this because I don't want my colleagues to think of me this way.
Yeah.
I don't want to get, you know what I mean? I don't want to say this because I don't want other designers to say that. And I think even that comes from, and I would love to see what happens when you really are being completely authentic in your content and just saying however you want to say it, and then kind of see the result of that. It's almost like it'll be interesting to see what they learn from that, because I think what they'll learn is that your colleagues don't give a shit. That they're not going to judge you for it, and a lot of them will actually agree with you, and it'll even get to a point where um, one of the best things about you saying whatever you want on social media,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like this, like it's like even with your friends, if you say whatever you want and then some of your friends stop hanging out with you because of that, great. Now you figure out who your real friends are.
Okay. So, did you sometimes regret because you did something, you posted something, or you kind of,
Yeah, but that means if I regret, that means it wasn't authentic,
but it
right?
was authentic at that moment, right?
Yeah, it was authentic at that moment, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you were in the small group meeting, but one of the things that we talked about is you don't like your gut, your intuition. If you're listening to your gut and your intuition to tell you what's authentic to you,
Okay.
it's not always going to be right, but over time it becomes more correct. So, for example, like the example that I give is, when I was 19 years old, my intuition told me, I just want to sit here and you know smoke some weed and just watch TV all day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to class.
Mm-hmm.
That was my gut feeling, right? My intuition, my authentic self told me that. But after doing that for a while, I felt miserable. But
Mm-hmm.
when I did wake up early, go to the gym and go be productive and things like that, that actually made me feel much more happier and fulfilled. So over time, my intuition now knows that, yeah, I want to sit here and just do nothing and be lazy. But my intuition knows that that's, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I think over time, your intuition learns like that. Your gut learns those things unknowingly.
Okay. So, did you go back to your post, for example, that you regret you posted, and did you delete it?
I'm trying to see if there's any post that I mean, like for example, the first carousel that I posted. Now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds like so. I can kind of feel like the ego in that post, like me trying to prove myself and like trying to, name drop and all these kind of things. And looking back, um, yeah, I guess back then maybe that wasn't maybe it was my ego that was doing that, and I wasn't really being authentic fully in that post. Would I go back and remove it? No. You know what I even did?
Do you feel
I
embarrassed
even
when you look at that post?
yeah, it feels cringe. But here's the thing, like I even reshared that post. I don't know if you remember recently, like a couple months ago. I reshared that post and I even talked about how cringe this is and how fucking I can smell the ego like in this post and like how, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's embarrassing,
Okay, so
I did it anyway.
did that affect your confidence in the in this area that you're working?
My confidence in what? In what
Your
area?
confidence in like how good you see yourself in your skill of writing carousels and marketing advices and so on.
No, I don't think it changed anything. Because yeah, no, it didn't really change anything.
Mm,
The confidence is kind of like, you know,
so
the
when did
the weird thing is,
when from what how long ago that post? uh
like 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So
But I look at websites that I made like 10 years ago, and it's like, yeah, there's some things that I did wrong there, but I don't feel. Maybe it's because I've been doing it for so long, right? And what you just made me realize is that if you have to think about confidence, oh, am I confident in this? Am I not confident in this? That probably means you're not confident. Because the things that you're really confident about, you don't even think that way about. For example, are you confident? Are you a confident? Are you confident in walking? Are you a good walker? Right?
yeah, okay.
Like when you were a baby and you first learned how to walk, and your mom is like, "Yay!" and you're like happy. Yeah. At that moment, you're thinking about confidence, but at some point, this becomes so second nature to you. And then even if you make a mistake or something like that, you don't feel embarrassed about. Do you understand what I mean? It's because it's,
Mm.
and that's how I think confidence works. Is that for me, yes, it's cringe, but for me, making carousels, design, those things are like, it's kind of like breathing. Yeah, I might mess up breathing sometimes. Maybe I forgot to take a breath or whatever, blah, 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 but I don't feel ashamed about that.
Mm,
I don't know if that makes sense.
um it seems like, when it's only up to you if you are a good walker or not a good walker, it's up to you.
Mm.
But if if you're not the only one in the process, or somebody depends on your expertise in something, then I guess that, I mean, we all evolve in life, so we are not the same, and to everybody it's obvious. So if you're a therapist, if you're a coach, whatever you are evolving. You're not the same person from the beginning till now, but it looks like you need to show like you are, even if you're a beginner, you need to look at least like you know what you're doing, because somebody is depending on if you can do the work or not. So the thing is, you never know when you are good. So it means that the whole life you need to fake that you are good, because you never know when is enough.
Yeah, yeah. Or you can just say, yeah, I'm gonna mistake. I'm gonna make mistake. I'm gonna be wrong sometimes, or whatever it is, and that's okay.
So the fact that you need to show like you're good enough means that whatever you see that that something is like beginner version is the proof that you're not good enough, because right now this is not like you're
Yeah,
over
yeah,
that
almost.
place,
Yeah,
and now you have another step.
yeah. And
So
I actually think that you do that long enough, you're gonna get to a point where it's like what I said before about scientists. The people who say the people who are most comfortable saying I don't know are usually scientists, and they're usually the smartest people in the world. Are usually the ones that feel most comfortable saying I don't know.
Yeah.
You know who feels the least comfortable saying I don't know? The dumbest people in the world. So yeah.
Yeah.
So confidence, like,
So the main
so
question is
to
how
you,
to.
who's more confident? The dumb people who has answer for everything, or the smart people who says I don't know all the time? Who's more confident?
If we just measure confidence, then dumb people are
Yeah.
more confident.
No. Some people are less confident. That's why they feel the need to make up the wrong answer to give instead of saying I don't know. The
Okay.
scientists,
Okay. This
the
means that
smart
they're.
people are so confident that they're confident not to
I
say I don't
know.
know.
I know. I know what you want to say. Yeah.
No.
So the main point that I see is how to accept actually changing version of yourself. So, I mean, these smart guys, they can say, I don't know. But if you actually show them what they said 10 years ago, because maybe on the same question they would have like, yeah, I know it's this theory, probably they would feel
Maybe.
they would feel embarrassed because of that fact that, oh my god, how ridiculous that was. So
Yeah. I mean, I think I have that moments like where I go back, but I don't feel embarrassed. I actually, yeah, I don't feel embarrassed about my past self because, yeah, I'm willing to admit, yeah, I was a moron. Like, I actually like one of the first things that I say, I, and I truly believe this. Like when I see younger people right now, like, you know, like when I see like a 25-year-old employee that I have, like that kid is way smarter than me than when I was 25. Like when I was 25, I was like a total loser. So, and I have no problem saying that because it's true. And it's, yeah. I actually think that if you have a problem saying that, it's you're almost putting your 25-year-old self on a pedestal. Like, oh, look how cool I was. Trying to like, you have an expectation of how you want other people to look at you when you were 25 or something like that. But
mhm.
I could really care less. And that it's related to this thing where when you post something that is true in your heart that you believe and it's you want to say it, but you hold yourself back, your authenticity back, because you're afraid of like what these people might say. That's really not that different than that child
Yeah,
holding their authentic self back in front of their parents.
yeah, true.
And I would even argue that a lot of that actually comes from their childhood. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if somebody's afraid to um, make anybody angry on social media, maybe that's because their parents were always angry, and it was your job to make sure that you don't piss them off, right? So you always have to tiptoe around your parents. Or if somebody's like needs to be really smart, maybe that's because every time when you said something incorrect or you got a B or C, your parents like punished
Mm,
you, right? So however we show up on social media, if we're not completely showing up exactly as ourselves and we're hiding some parts of ourselves or we're worried that some parts of ourselves might offend somebody or something like that, we should look into that because those things probably are coming from something that happened in our childhood.
yeah, I know that. Okay, so you made a point. Congratulations. So,
Yay!
um, Okay.
Wait, what did you want to say
No, nothing.
before we
So
go there?
yeah, we can go back. So this dilemma, attachment versus authenticity, is what is bothering, I guess, me and many other content creators. So I guess I'm thinking now, what are the small steps to that, and maybe this is like this conversation. Okay, so are you are you suppressing your opinion just for the sake of how you will look like? Is this really that serious? Okay, so now I'm like, let's say, a little bit more comfortable to do it, not so happy because of it, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's like some kind of consolidation with the reality. So we can work on that carousel.
Okay. Okay, so nobody likes a smart. I guess the final lesson of this is um, for somebody like that, what would you advise? Like, okay, first of all, were you there, and how did you overcome that? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm, I don't know exact time because I was really aware of how I will say something, so how I will be perceived. But I remember a few colleagues. So I could see I was learning by watching my colleagues. So you had few colleagues that were all over the place. They always know the answers, so they really wanted to look smart. And comparison to that, uh, there was one colleague that every time he was speaking about his subject that he uh, brought, he was so like quiet and patient and thoughtful that I could really, when I would ask him a question, or if he can give me some resources for the subject he was talking about, every time he was so precise and detailed. So I learned about that. So maybe this was something, this kind of picture one, picture two, so I could see. I think this was changing much more how I would approach it. Then
So you, by looking at somebody else, like
yes,
how they were
yes,
doing it, you can,
yes, yes.
okay. Which is what we're trying to do here, actually. We're trying to give the kid as an example to show that.
Hmm.
So how? So yeah, I guess no. That's good enough. I guess like stop trying. Um, Nobody likes a smartass because why? They're trying to be impressive.
Yes,
Um,
they fight too hard to be the leader or something, to be the one.
yeah, yeah. I guess so. So we can end it at that. We're trying to impress is not impressive. That could probably be the lesson. Trying to impress is not impressive. So stop trying. Maybe it should be more like direct. Like stop trying to impress. That's not impressive. Something like that. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
New therapist and okay. So I think these two are good. Nobody likes a smartass. Stop trying to impress. It's not impressive. That's how we can end it.
Okay.
And then how should we begin? Um,
As uh, so we kind of feel the pressure that we need to help by giving advices. So I'm thinking
okay, yeah,
um
maybe something
as
like,
therapist.
do you feel,
Mhm.
yeah, as therapists and coaches, we love giving advices.
Um
No, I think here the point is that we think that that's gonna help make us look smarter, right?
mhm.
No, you don't agree?
um I'm thinking if I mean we feel the pressure that we need to impress. We need to kind of
Hmm.
give something, so we need
Feel
to look
the
smarter.
Yeah, maybe we can do something like, as coaches, we may feel pressure to have all the answers because clients pay us or something like that.
Okay. Um
Or is that something different? Yeah, I think actually that's different because I think there are people who, as therapists and coaches, feel like they need to have all the solutions because they're getting paid.
mhm.
But I don't think they're doing it for because they want to
They would
sound
do
smart
that
or something like
anyway.
that.
They would do
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
anyway.
So this is what I have so far.
Okay. As coaches, we love giving advices. We feel that having the right answer makes us look smarter. Remember when you were in school and you see that kid who always has an answer, who always raises their hand, nobody likes that kid, not even the teacher. The truth is, nobody likes the smart ass. Stop trying to impress. It's not impressive. Okay. Mm, I was thinking only about the beginning.
Hmm.
So, um, it looks like there is a pressure to kind of prove yourself to the client, to prove your credibility. So this is why they give advices, not because they love to give advices. It's more of a pressure to uh, prove their expertise.
So maybe as coaches, we we feel that we need to prove our expertise,
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah. Um, so you purposely excluded therapists.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can say as therapists.
I would just twist it. As therapists, we feel that we need to prove our expertise, so we love giving advices.
As therapists, feel the need to prove our expertise.
I would say so. We love giving advices even though we know we shouldn't. Is it good to say? We know we shouldn't. We.
I'm trying to tie the advice to, because right now we're using advice here, but answer here, right?
Hmm,
Um,
hmm, hmm. If we say answer, so we love giving answers.
I mean, that could still work too.
Hmm.
So I go here is to like, because it can see when I work on carousels, it can kind of get distracting to a point where I was trying to talk about this point, but it starts to slowly go into this point, right? Where we, and then now I want to say, oh yeah, we shouldn't give advice because most people are not good at just taking advice or taking answers. They have to reach the conclusion for themselves or something like that. Like
Hmm.
we might get sidetracked, so we want to make sure that we don't go there. We know that for this, the whole point is that we want to show them that how stupid that looks,
Hmm.
right?
Okay. What was your point when what you said, like the sidetrack about advices? Your mind went to what place?
Say that again.
You just said that you were thinking about actually advices and that people don't take advices.
Oh yeah, like we might be tempted to hear say the reason why you shouldn't give answers
Okay.
is because most people don't are not going to act on those advices unless they came up with the answer on their own, right? That's why we
Okay.
shouldn't, as therapists, we shouldn't give the answers. We should help them reach the answer themselves. But that's a different lesson. That's a different. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
we're assuming that they already know that, right? But they're doing it anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe that's what we should say. Like here, uh, we should say something like as therapists, we know we shouldn't give our clients the answers.
Okay.
We should guide them to reach their own,
I like that.
but we can't help ourselves
Mm.
because we want to prove our expertise.
This is good. This is the best so far, at least for my well-being when I look at the carousel.
And for your well-being.
Yes.
But remember when, but so, okay, let me open this and like, I think
Awesome.
we can go to Figma now.
Yay.
Where's my Figma? Okay. Do you see my screen? Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
You see Figma? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So this is Figma. I'm gonna do new design file. So Figma works kind of a lot like Illustrator um or like Photoshop or something where this is the whole thing, and you can create like you can create frames. Like each frame is like its own canvas. So this is like its own slide, right?
Okay.
And just so you know, for Instagram carousel, it's going to be 1080 by 1350.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so this is a 1080. Let me see if I could. Oh, everything's so small, huh? So it's, as you can see, 1080 by 1350, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is I would, you know, if you hold down the option button, by the way, this
Okay.
is a design shortcut. If you hold down the option button
Mm-hmm.
and then you drag anything, it duplicates it.
Awesome.
Do you know what I mean? And that works with anything. Like, let's say I write something here, right? I wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
And if I hold down the option button and then drag it, it's going to duplicate it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's across every design software.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you purposely use Inter font, or this is the first one that came?
It's just, it's what it gave me.
Okay. Because I used that one, but on bolded.
Bold.
Yes.
Okay. Like that.
Yes.
Okay. So the first slide was as therapist. Okay. So you see what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do, because this is just one line, what you want to do is you want to adjust it like that
Okay.
so that, um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so that whatever you write, it'll wrap it like that.
Okay.
That it won't go on forever. Like so, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make the width of this. So you know how it's like 1080. I said it's
Uh,
1080 by 1350.
yes.
So let's say I want to give 50 pixel and 50 pixel padding on left and right, right? So that's 100 pixels total.
Okay.
So what I want to do is the whole width is 1080. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make this box 980. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Because now, and then if I center it, that means there's 50 pixels here and 50 pixels here, padding,
Okay.
right?
Is that
But
enough?
you can see how it's
Yeah, it's kind of sounds like it's pressing that the text.
still too big, right? So we want a
Yeah.
little even more padding. So let's try 880, right? Kind of like
Awesome.
this.
Awesome.
But I think I even want I want even more space than that. So I'm gonna do
Okay.
780, right?
Okay.
So basically that means that on both sides we have so 780 we have 150 pixel on the left and 150 pixel on the right padding, right?
Okay. Okay. And how big font? What font? How large font do you recommend?
However you want. But you see here,
Hmm.
I'm gonna align middle. You see that? You can align
Yes.
top, middle, or bottom, right?
Would you
Compared to
mind
the
that
box.
for every part? For every?
Yeah, so this way then I can just do it like this. And remember I'm holding the option and I'm copying and pasting here.
Yeah.
You see that? You
Yeah.
see what I did
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Or you can just here, you can copy like Command C and go to this print and Command V. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, now let me actually go ahead and copy these frames to
Mm-hmm.
all 10, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I have 10 slides, right?
Yeah, just for people to
All
know
with,
that Figma is free to use, so no
yeah,
no money to spend on this program.
yeah. So I tell you this, by holding the option button, when you select something and you hold the option and you drag something,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a duplicate of that. It makes a copy of that. I told you that, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
copy.
yeah.
So option, that's the reason why I said that is that's a shortcut that's really important. The option and duplicating, you're going to end up using it a lot.
Okay.
Another one that's important is command minus, which is zoom out, command plus, which is zoom in. Okay,
Okay.
zoom out,
Okay.
zoom in. Like
Okay.
otherwise, you have to keep going here, wherever the zoom is,
I
and
see.
you have to keep doing that, right? Like you have to, you know, oh, you have to go here, and you have to zoom in, right? If you go here,
I see.
zoom in, like that's
I see.
this way too long. So left, minus, plus, minus, plus. Next is when you hold down the space key, you see my hand changes. You see that? When I hold the space, it changes from arrow to that.
Okay.
When you hold down the space and drag, now you can drag the canvas like this.
Okay.
Right?
Is that in every program?
So
In Illustrator, in Photoshop
it's
as well?
every design. Yeah, that's why when you're a designer, you learn one software. To learn the next software, it becomes super easy because all the shortcuts are pretty much the same, right?
I see.
So remember, option, drag, option, drag, right? Zoom in, and then hit space too. You see?
I wrote that down on my paper just for the record
Okay.
that we need to put this on my wall.
Okay. So now I can zoom out to see all 10, and I can zoom into specific slide. As therapist, right?
Okay.
And then I'm going to copy the rest. So I'm going to copy the second one, next, third one, next. These are I'm just copying the lines that we have from.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering one thing. If you, for example, didn't find the right font, is there a way to add a font?
Font into here.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess these are all the fonts that they already have.
Okay.
Is there a way to add a font? I'm not sure. Yeah, that I'm gonna have to look up, like how to add fonts in. I mean, like I'm not like a huge. I don't go crazy with fonts. What you will realize is, I like sticking with classic fonts. So there's a designer named Massimo Vignelli. Have you heard of him?
No. Massimo.
So yeah, Massimo Let me show you real quick. So Massimo Vignelli is a designer, and if you look at his designs, he only uses 5 fonts in all of his designs. And like he did the New York City subway, so this is all Helvetica. Right. So you can that's Helvetica.
That's Helvetica.
He also this is Helvetica. Yeah.
Ooh.
This conversation does continue here, but only for our Night Owl Nation members. If you'd like to hear the full conversation, click the link in the description and join us at nightowlnation.com.